Peace, 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 peace. Peace, 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 peace. I really wanted to do this video when it was lighter outside, but you know, I feel like y'all can see me. So we just gonna make this a little night video. Yeah, we gonna make this a night video. I gotta hey, it's finna get real interesting. Please tell my brother some water. Please be water in here. Yes. My throat been going through the motion. Full moon energy got me howling. Not hearing my voice, but yo, get in here. I'm gonna say get in here, chat, but get in here. I gotta deliver this one. Ooh, Lord. Hey, let's give an honor to Source, to the Creator, to the Most High for making all this possible. Y'all know when I got my notes, it's gonna get real deep. You know when I got my notes, let's give an honor to the ancestors known and unknown. Gratitude. I say, if you're new here, I'm letting you know now. This is a place or a spot where I hold space for everybody. I hold space for the comfortable and the uncomfortable, but truthfully, this is a space that I hold for to really shake some shit up, to really like rattle some stuff. This is a space for the uncomfortability so that you can come back home to yourself. Yeah. Is that light? Would that light be? Oh, I feel like that's enough light, but I feel like that's too much light. Let me see this one. Nah, I don't want that one either. We'll go with this one. We'll go with it. We'll go with this. Yeah. Get your popcorn ready. In the words of Bernie Mac, rest in power, Bernie Mac. In the words of Bernie Mac, see, I say the shit you afraid to say. I say confidently. There's certain things that ain't no going back on certain things because it just is what it is unapologetically. I got my chapstick. If not, I just gonna keep licking my loving lips. My loving lips. If you haven't heard it, this is to all my shades of people. Different shades, whether you're lighter shade, darker shade. I love to break down things from all levels. Let's start by this. This shit is so funny, bro. Oh my gosh. Hey, I need my chapstick, bro. I ain't bringing none. I don't got one of them. God. I know how I get when I really want to get a message out. I'm not gonna keep it in my heart because it's through the heart that we liberate ourselves, and it's honesty. Yo, this shit is this thing on? I may be the first to say this, but I won't be the last. Or let's just say, there are people who are darker who've always wanted to say this, and this is through those who have experience or have had experience with people who proclaim themselves to be or subscribe to the narrative of white, Caucasian, you know, typically what you see in the US of A, the divided states, because like it literally is true that states are divided. The divided states of America, if you want to call it that. The divided people. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Is it coming? Woo! It's gonna get real. Like, I gotta get everything to come out now. Blessings. I gotta bring it to y'all because you know we haven't known what an authentic love is. I made it very clear what trauma bonds are And it's so fucking weird how people pull up and they just be looking so fucking like y'all be looking so awkward when you pull up beside somebody. Okay, he looked very suspect. But anywho, bro, if y'all gonna like get better at it. So anywho, let me say this. This is so funny. I've spoken before, if you haven't noticed, on one of my previous videos about the trauma bond. I should have wrote it on this part, but I'm going to speak on more of the authentic love. The authentic love consists of is I see you, meaning that I see you for who you are. I hear you for who you are. Like I hear you. I hear, you know, in its totality of who you are. Mutual trust. Because I want y'all, if y'all got to come back to this and see where I'm going with this. Words aligning with actions. Now, no one's perfect in this, but, you know, it's been a growth, especially on my part. Emotional vulnerability, or being emotionally vulnerable. Open communication. Clear boundaries. Free of self-betrayal, and values accountability. Inner work to hold space to evolve, meaning doing the inner work. Those that aren't familiar with that, it's like literally doing what we call, people in the spiritual community use a term, or conscious community, whatever you want to call it, use a term, shadow work, or going within, facing your own unresolved traumas or emotions, the shadow parts of yourself, the parts that people don't see, or the parts of you that you can't run away from, you know, your insecurities or whatever. Other than that, you know, yeah. Public service announcement. If y'all heard it here first, you heard it here now. Or, yeah. There are people that are darker. Those of you that like to subscribe to the word black. And those of you that in the conscious community or spiritual community who don't subscribe to the word black, who like to call, who knows your nationality, or who may use the term darker shade, melanin, whatever. Hey, it's levels to it. Or it's just whatever you want to go by. This is to people that are lighter shade. Those of you that want to call yourself white, Caucasian, light-skinned, fair-skinned, or know your nationality, or even the term Native Americans. But I'm gonna say this first, start on this level. When it comes to darker people, especially in certain demographics, when it comes to whether they grew up in the hood, whether they grew up in the trenches, whatever, I basically had to tell this to my partner, the mother of, you know, kids, whatever, you know, tell her, like, look, you never heard this, but I'm gonna be the first to tell you, because, you know, some of you women that are lighter skinned don't realize how much your families have internalized racism, and then you're a part of structures that also are part of structures that have internalized racism. Meaning that, what's the other term that I could use for that? Not colorism, but which is a part of it. But what is it called? What is that term or that terminology called? Oh, it want to come to me. Come on. What is that term called? It will come to me eventually. But again, a lot of y'all don't realize how much internalized. When I say racism, I like to use the term self-hatred, because I'm gonna talk on all levels. But man, the word, it's like right there. What is it called? Not the word prejudice, but it's another term. But anywho, this is a public service announcement to a lot of you that can no longer run from what the energy you carry, your lineages carry. There are darker people, majority, who probably, there's a high percentage, let's just say there's a high percentage that wants to say this, and I'll be the first to say it for them. They do not trust you. Now, if you want to take that personal, it's okay. But I had to tell my partner this. I said, listen, I don't trust you in a sense, like I was saying it as if like, speaking for me and people that are darker who has experienced things in this country that y'all pretend that y'all don't see. And see, this is going back to trauma bonding. Where I tell y'all, there is, I'm pointing out the trauma bond aspect, and I'm gonna point out the fact of like why y'all or people as human beings, humanity, there's this underlining like where people don't want to see, which is the opposite of authentic love. They don't want to hear. There's no mutual fucking trust. This is what darker people are saying, but they just, some probably are afraid to say it out loud because they're probably in career settings where a boss or authority figure doesn't look like them. And typically in this country, due to certain structural corporations and how things are structured, you have people in place who have gotten to positions through said, how could I say this? In position through, not really doing the inner work, not really doing the work, or not really even have a lot of common sense. I don't care if it's a so-called high-ranking official, a military official. I don't give a fuck who it is, honestly. There are people in place that really don't have common sense. And a lot of people that won't say it, these is like some people that are darker in certain places that like subconsciously either have fears around the consequences of how they will be like treated when they're in these spaces and careers. They do not, there's people that have a deep underlining like hatred for people that are lighter. And it ain't for if you want to use the term Caucasian or white people. They do not trust you. I had to tell my partner, I said, look, I'm gonna use to say, I'll say, I don't trust you. We don't trust you. And it's not like you don't want to trust somebody. There's no mutual trust. And the reason I say this is like I was letting her know why there are people that are darker who feel that they're not able to say it, or they're in a setting where if they do, like, they're not able to be their authentic self in these settings. So if they do, they'll be fired, they'll be demoted, they'll be basically they won't be seen as valuable. And then even when they get to these places or get in these settings where they have these, degrees or whatever it is or whatever, it's a lot that goes with that no one talks about. A lot of women that go through things, a lot of men that go through things when they even get to a place of authority. There's a lot of things, again, I tell y'all, like I be breaking this shit down on all levels. Darker people, mostly in this country, especially in the US of A, whatever you want to call it, America, some of y'all may call it Tamari. I speak on all levels of things. Y'all want people, y'all, not saying y'all, but people want people. Y'all so conflict avoidance, but at the same time, y'all want us to forget about the conflict, what happened to certain people. Like, y'all want us to forget, like, what and how we have been portrayed on the media, the corruption. Authentic love says value accountability. This is a fucking country that takes no accountability. Your leaders are not accountable. Your politicians, your community leaders, your mothers and fathers do not value accountability. So I'm letting y'all know. Like I told her, I looked her right in her eyes, right there. Like I'm like, look, this is why people darker do not trust you. They've been wanting to say this for so long. Y'all have given us reasons after reasons and reasons not to trust anything you say because of authentic love, which is your words aligning with your actions. When we look at the state of this country, when we look at the people, and this is on all levels, because I'm gonna get into even the fact of like, even as a man, as a darker man, and a deeper perspective of this, is that it's not everybody. I have people personally that are of a lighter complexion, a different shade, may call themselves white or Caucasian, that I haven't ever had issues with. But when I look at the totality of what this country has fueled itself off of, never giving credit or even an applause or even like celebrate it or show any type of appreciation or even held a space, a safe place for people that are darker to feel emotionally vulnerable, to speak up about what it is, because every time or any time this is expressed, it's almost devalued, cast aside, and so forth. And I'm not meaning from people who do look like me, and some of them are some what's the term I want to say? Some house jiggers. Some house jiggers, and y'all know what I mean by that. Like, they don't care to see other people progress. They're more, and that's why a lot of them falling from grace, because they don't live in integrity either. They're greedy, just like the ones who are supporting them. Just like the hidden black hand. Y'all want me to go there. It's that deep. Y'all be surprised how much shit finna be exposed. How racist these a lot of this stuff is. That was literally, it's like y'all asking people that are darker, because again, I'm not going to put everyone in this category, but from my experience, from my lens, and what I've seen transpired in my 35 years of age, and even the fact of like seeing how communities are literally built and have been built to keep other people out, how certain things are here for certain people to progress, and now that all this shit is shattering and collapsing, you built this on this energy, people. The same energy you put out now is smacking you and backfiring right back in your fucking face. Even the ones that are darker that you don't see, who also supported it. Y'all don't want to be held accountable for the fact of like, you built business just to keep other people out that are even darker. And this is also to people who are lighter shades. Y'all also literally subconsciously don't even realize it, or unconsciously acting like, I've actually seen women that are lighter actually like acting like they are more beautiful physically just because they're not darker. Like the colorism aspect, y'all literally built businesses, your makeup industries, your sports industries, everything, a lot of stuff to the depths of it. Y'all acting like this stuff hasn't, literally the energy that it carries is anything but inauthenticity. Like, come on. Let's be honest here. I told my partner, I looked at her, I said, it's beyond just your shade, but you have to realize, like, as much as you don't want to see it, it's a real thing. As much as you don't want to see and hear the pain of darker people, but y'all want to live amongst them. But you feel so safe in your communities, and then you literally take on these narratives because the media has portrayed this, and you clenching your purses. Like, you see someone come in your neighborhood that move in that's darker, and then automatically you just, you have this fear, or this, all your shit start to come up that you didn't ever think you were gonna be faced with. and not knowing nothing about that person because you chose not to literally, again, authentically be emotionally vulnerable, because a lot of you have been hiding from yourselves. And I'm talking particularly to, you know exactly who I'm talking to, a lot of people who have built their business on literally, your targeted audience is just specifically people that look like you. Yes. Yes. And you wonder why people, when they're trying to get something, a business built, or try to create something, stop, like, let's stop pretending like as if this country has supported with who has been in certain positions, like wanting to support the progression of even people that are darker. Not to mention, again, there are people that are darker too, have their hands behind a lot of stuff too that y'all don't see. But I'm talking to the ones specifically that some of y'all, I give y'all a little grace, because some of y'all don't really, some of y'all pretend like y'all don't know, because a lot of you elders pretend, but some of y'all programming is so deep that y'all don't want to see it. So now that it's an Aquarian age and everything is coming out, you can no longer hide it. Like, you can no longer hide it. I've had to talk to an elder today and tell her, like, you wanted me to be a part of something in this community, but girl, baby girl, I'm not appreciating and celebrating here. These are fucking towns and places, which I know the divine sent me here because this is why I'm relaying the message. These are places who kept people like me out. These are places where your grandmother, your great-grandmother, they had nothing to do with people that are darker. What makes it any difference? Because you smile? Because you hide behind your Christianity and your religion? Not all of you, but a lot of you do. Because you hide behind that shit. And now you're dealing with a man who's in tune, who's aware, and be like, yo, that's not integrity what y'all doing. Y'all not moving in integrity. Y'all not moving in integrity. And I ain't one of them type that keep trying to tell me to, try to bring church and religion and bring Jesus in it every time I'm talking to you. Stop. Jesus ain't here right now talking to you. He ain't stepped in and advocated. He ain't here. For all you that want to bring up, no. I'm talking to you. Personally. I'm being emotionally vulnerable in front of you. I'm trying to have an open dialogue and communication with you. I didn't ask for you to try to call and keep giving me this Jesus narrative and not. No, them fucking days are done. This is authenticity here. When the last time you sat down with someone that you don't like, that you don't even realize you have this internal racism, that you don't even realize you have this internal hate, and they're to blame? They're to blame now because things are shifting, things are changing. Now your whole life being exposed, now your whole business being exposed because you know that you really built that business, you built that church, you built that corporation off keeping people out that are darker. Come on. Come on, Sarah. Come on, Sally. Come on now. Come on now. Again, there is no fucking mutual trust between darker and lighter people here in this so-called United States, or whatever y'all want to call it. There is no mutual trust. Nothing. There has been nothing authentic. What I read before, mutual trust, words aligning with actions. You got women I know who would say they light skin, pecan tan, all this other shit before they even want to be a part of people that are darker. And they mama be darker, they daddy be darker. And they have so much of a conflict interest. And sometimes they really go through things where their mom had, this internal battle she dealing with, or even the fact of like they probably dealt with something personal in their past that they don't want to deal with, or they don't want to actually deal with people that are darker. This shit goes so deeper. One thing I realized that a lot of people run from, authentic love says valuing accountability. Let me tell y'all something. There's one thing that I realized. I'm starting with every shade of people. Y'all motherfuckers run from accountability, cuz y'all run from accountability. Every darker person, this is to lighter people, this is to people who want to call themselves white and stuff. Everybody ain't finna rob you, y'all. Yo, everybody ain't finna come. Y'all don't even realize y'all have some deep-rooted ass subconscious fears that ain't even got nothing to do with the other person. It's what your programming is. It's what you have grew up in. And a lot of you, y'all have this deep infatuation, obsession with a certain people and culture, and at the same time, you have this fear of associating yourself with them because you know that would jeopardize everything you built. That would jeopardize your relationships. That will literally expose the races that your husband, your business, and everything that you built on. Y'all literally pretend, y'all run from accountability. When I'm sitting here telling, I'm starting with lighter people, whether you want to call yourself Caucasian or white, whatever, calling out y'all first and then get to my darker people, because y'all darker people, y'all not exempt. I speak on all levels. Because I'm telling you, that was something within me that why would I lie to myself? It's like what I went through personally as a darker man. I can't sit here and say I trust people that are Caucasian or white or, on that surface level as much as I really want to. And that's simply because what has been shown to me. Y'all hide behind smiles so much, and it's so deep. Y'all don't even realize like how deep this shit really is. It go as deep as the psychological thing when I'm a darker man, younger, having to see commercials, TV, families that's always painted out. Y'all are always painted out to be happy. And we are given a narrative of this bullshit slavery shit as if we just all supposed to take on this narrative that we come from something that's horrible, that's painful. All this, that's crazy. That's that's some bullshit ass fantasy. And we literally psychologically y'all don't even realize how deep programming is for people in certain demographics to even look at y'all as saviors, to look for y'all to be like, we gotta seek out our peace in y'all. We gotta seek out our success through y'all in certain careers and settings. That's how deep the fucking structural racism is. And literally people have this so-called person in their head. Some darker people have a subconscious, like literally a person in their head, like y'all act one way, y'all be tough. Darker people, y'all be so tough around your own people, depending on where you are. But as soon as you see a policeman that don't look like you, you straighten the fuck up. As soon as you get in front of that judge, you act completely different. Soon as you know what I'm saying? It's this deep. Soon as you get that first woman that don't look like you, you treat her totally different than what you would treat your own, women that you came from. And it's not always that case, because I know a lot of people who can't, and this is for my sisters that are darker. A lot of you don't realize, like, a lot of these men that are darker, that your sons or whatever, your uncle, your brother, go to people that are of a lighter descent. This is not always the case, but this is a high percentage. Most of the time, they're just trying to find a sense of peace. But also, most of the time, it's not just a peace, but they know they're not going to get all that, nagging or realizing, which they probably don't realize, is that a lot of you have so much of a deep insecurities and self-hatred for yourself that you have this same fucking hatred and shit for your own sons, your own brothers, your own father, because of your internal father wound. The only difference with women that are subscribed themselves to be white or whatever it is, they just hide it better. I'm telling you from experience. I just literally talked to someone, and the trauma bond is still there. No difference. The energy is still the same as with a darker woman and her father that's darker. The trauma bond is still the same. Y'all just ain't never been given a solution. the trauma bond's still the same. It's still a trauma bond. And that's why I'm pointing out. It's like y'all don't even realize a lot of darker people, they really don't trust a lot of lighter skinned people. Because there are incidents where people that are lighter, due to their complexity, due to their shade, they will typically get more access to certain things. I've seen this happen with women I've dated that are lighter skinned. I've seen certain things that happen with women that are darker that don't talk about it. There is a colorism aspect that has fueled this country and corporations for so long, to where now it's running. It's the well is running dry for all this shit. It's done. There are darker people, I'm telling y'all, that do not trust you because your words do you trust you at all, because and then some of the lighter people, it's not even your fault, because a lot of you really are clueless to the fact of why is this darker woman, or this woman of darker shade, or a man, why am I being treated this way? Or some of you even believe the narrative that are lighter, like y'all really believe that darker people came from slavery, bro? What? And y'all don't even have, y'all don't even look at history. There is nothing there. Where are the ships? Y'all don't even ask yourself this shit. If you thinking that all people are darker came over somewhere, and you really think that your people didn't come here, some of y'all ancestors that are lighter came here. You can Google this shit. A lot of y'all ancestors came on ships. The story has been told completely backwards. There are people too are darker. I told y'all before, that put their own people in captivity. This is the hidden black hand y'all don't know about. Because the origins of everything is darker. So who had to begin what? We are all different shades of humanity. And when you get to the underlining of it, none of people words align with their actions. What you have seen, and everybody been trauma bonding with each other. This is a fucking trauma culture. Like, y'all want to talk about celebrating culture. You can't give me no money and tell me I'm supposed to celebrate something that, people get pissed off because I don't want to subscribe to black. Black what? Black is an adjective. This shirt is black. These letters are white. And I get what people saying, well, we're trying to say. No, you're not going to categorize and put me in no box with all people, because all darker people experience is different. I know people from other countries who are born into said financial wealth and have their own printed money. I know one of the young guys told me I forgot what part of Africa he from. He said they got a cook, like a person that cooks, a chef. Where? Where? My mama only cooked for me, my grandma, or certain people. I had to cook for myself. That's a different perspective, folk. That's a different kind of perspective. And money. That's a different kind of rich, as some would say. But it's not the same. Y'all people don't want to have accountability. Ain't nobody out here truly progressing further than, well, let me say this. There are people progressing. There are people are stuck in their suppression. I will say that, or depression. But I will not believe for once that we are in no recession or whatever. This shit has always happened. There have always been people that will come along and check humanity and make us check ourselves. But then again, y'all ain't never seen this before. I'm letting y'all know there are darker people who want to say, bro, I don't trust y'all. And the reason they say y'all, they would literally put all people that are lighter in, especially if they want to call them Caucasian or white people, into a box saying, we don't trust y'all. But some people really need to say that. Y'all need to say that. And what's so difficult for a darker man is that I told my partner, I said, it's so challenging for a darker man in this country, and I know a lot of my bros go get this, is because not only do we get hatred from our own women, when we try to go be with someone else, because we get tired of this shit, and we get tired of being mistreated, not valued, no mutual respect, no mutual trust, no nothing. Then we're hated even more because we choose to go date someone else who attempts to, gain that mutual trust. But what a lot of those guys, when you see athletes or certain people, it's not always their story, but subconsciously, some of them, like when they get to that point, some of them won't say this. And I told my partners, I said, I can love and care about somebody, but there's still this thing where what has happened in this country and what has happened with darker men and so forth, we're only seeking out a partner or wanting to align with a partner who can hold space for us, who can just be a safe outlet for us, who can be in our corner. There is nothing, especially as darker men, little boys, when our own mothers have their own fucking trauma and then they don't want to take no accountability. When I look at this country and I look at darker women, when I say consistency, there are no women that I know personally, and I'm saying this because it's facts, that values accountability, that literally can say they have a mutual trust consistently with their own people in a way that look like them. Let me just say that this look like them. That their words even align with their actions, because you talking about a culture. When I say if their words not aligning with their actions, look at your rappers, look at your artists. They not living that shit. Most of them are paid. They're not living that. A lot of them are getting paid to purposely corrupt. What? You don't think the world would be better if people were out there saying something they really lived? And some of them, if they are living it, you pushing something that really ain't teaching kids, the youth, to value the importance of loving themselves, trusting themselves, taking accountability for their actions. What else? And teaching them, you like our music is showing them how to be emotionally vulnerable. It's teaching them how to be emotionally avoidant. You got rappers, you got people behind these mics. It ain't even just rappers. You got people that are singers and shit. There's nothing that's teaching them how to be openly communicative with themselves and teaching them to have a solid foundation with themselves, to be self-sufficient, to love themselves, to have clear boundaries. And that's another thing. This is not a country or place, I'm talking about humanity, where we actually, when you see how darker people have been like paraded or like literally crucified in this country and all over the fucking globe, when you have visualizations of an officer that don't look like you, you're not even, authentic love is saying clear boundaries. Y'all don't even, you talking about people that don't even respect themselves enough to have boundaries, to where you're talking about, if I don't do this, if I put my hands up, and you still unalive them? What kind of boundaries are that? You're talking about, things that have been put in place to literally overstep boundaries. Have no sense of stuff that has literally, it's like inhumane. There's nothing that values, not to mention the accountability after that. To see someone do that, then go to a system that we know that does not support shit that what we're doing. It's not literally a system not put in place to hold people accountable for their actions, to let them get off scot-free. And y'all really believe that there is not a universal law to this shit, universal karma, where people who haven't aligned their words with their actions, and you think that you escape from that karma? Boy, the shit that is coming to these countries, to these world leaders and everything, boy, y'all are not exempt. I'm just a warning. I'm just a messenger. Even I'm not exempt for what I put out, unless I actually do the inner work. Meaning that unless I actually take accountability for what I did and literally go apologize to myself or take accountability, and then whomever I hurt. Y'all acting like there's been apologies to what people have experienced, whether all shades. So again, even if it's like a darker man, it's like a lot of these men, I don't blame them. I don't fault them for wanting to go to a different culture. If they have someone who can be emotionally vulnerable, where they can have open communication, where they can have a mutual trust, when that person words align with their actions, where they actually have a person who sees them for who they are, who hears their cry. Now, the most challenging part when you are in a culture and a lot of people aren't ready, because I told my partner this, I said, listen, y'all want to date, or people want to date people that are darker, ignoring the fact of the conflict avoidance of knowing what people have went through, the traumatic things, and you're asking because you have been programmed so much, the conflict avoidance, or growing up in a society of humanity who have numbed themselves, who have no sense of compassion for self, so they don't have a compassion for people. How the fuck do you see someone get unalived and all this other stuff, and you literally say, oh, well, that's what he get, bro? The shit that you see on social media, bro, the real deep hatred people have for themselves. Like, I've seen stuff on comments to see like people who hide behind social media. Some of y'all are disgusting as human beings. Y'all ugly inside, folk. Y'all ugly. I'm so glad the world and this earth is being purged of these impurities. Y'all are disgusting. Ew. I'm not even trying to act like I'm perfect, but I can acknowledge my own shit. I value accountability. But one thing y'all scared of is accountability. That's everybody. Y'all scared of that shit. Y'all run from that. Yep. But for people to sit here, y'all don't see stuff so much that y'all become so numb to it. Y'all come so numb. Y'all even go to the funerals and places numb. As if nothing, like, bro, this country, these places finna go through, it's finna be a sweep. It's finna be a cleansing. I'm just a messenger. Just for y'all to come together. You heard it here first. Y'all don't realize a lot of stuff has to happen catastrophically, and, you know, just for people to come together. It's just like, I'm going to give y'all this analogy. You ever seen a creek run off, or you ever seen erosion? And somehow, some way, the water's been running for so long to where eventually it collapses, and then the water begins to merge, and then it begins to, it expands. And that's like literally nature. That's literally humanity. What's going to happen? I'm just letting y'all know what's literally unfolding. That's a part of the Great Reset. Because y'all don't realize, like, what y'all perceive as being negative is truly positive. What y'all perceive as being positive is really negative. But y'all so caught up in looking at the bad and good, when in actuality it's for the betterment of all. Y'all gonna have to go through things. That's why I'm not mad at how a lot of stuff that I'm being called to say, no matter how uncomfortable it is for people, is because y'all need to cleanse y'all fucking self. Y'all need to purge yourself. Some of you who don't even realize it's so dangerous for y'all, cause some of y'all are so dangerous because y'all unconscious don't even know what y'all doing. And then when somebody bring it to your awareness, you get so, which is it's intentional, you get so triggered and not even recognizing the awareness around, like, you get triggered for a reason. It's to bring awareness to you, either to do the inner work, to go within and see yourself, or continue to go through the same loop. Like, I think I said this in another video, like, y'all want people that are darker to trust you, you know, and this is not everyone. You want people to trust, but there's no mutual trust. You've given nothing to people to have a mutual trust. This is what a lot of men that are darker crying out or have silent cries, because you're asking us, we're trying to build our own resources. And you acting like people who are leaders or who have been leaders, not all of them, but you talking about your Malcolms and people who were in certain positions, as if y'all didn't have a country that would literally attack them for openly communicating, for being emotionally vulnerable, for trying to spread a message of unity, because there's no fucking mutual trust. because people expose and call the government structures or whatever it is out on their bullshit because y'all words and what's in your constitution and what you said was supposed to be given to people, your words ain't in line with your actions, and you think there ain't gonna be consequences? I don't speak on this level of this physical shit with y'all. When I say divine justice, is that play right now? Divine retribution? When I say there is divine intervention right now, the Most High sees all. Y'all God that y'all be calling and praying to, what type of God don't see exactly what y'all be doing? I don't know what kind of God or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what type of entities y'all be praying to, and yeah, that shit is done. So, again, the thing why I say darker people and certain demographics don't trust people that are lighter is because there has never been no authentic connections. No authentic love reciprocated. I told my partner, I said, you're asking people, which we know this country has been built from people that are darker. You're asking us repeatedly to keep building shit after like all we've been through emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. Not only with you, but with other people that are darker. Because color don't make you kin. There were people that are lighter shades that supported certain things, that supported the progression. But there are people that are darker. Like I told you, as a darker man, it's so challenging to deal with the fact of like, I brought up something that's real deep, that's related, that's on this topic with like the fact of like, this how deep trauma and shit goes. Like I known from when I was younger to have like go through emotional abuse, physical abuse, you know, whoopings and stuff like that. And what came over me early, it was like, it's very difficult when you're asking a human being, just a person that's darker, to pretend not to see what the fuck is going on. To pretend for me not to act like I didn't go through things with women that look like me. And then to be asked, y'all asking us to love y'all, to support y'all and so forth. There has been no reciprocity. And the truth is because we've been trauma bonding for so long. Not to mention, our women have been trauma bonding with people that don't look like us. Because y'all go into these settings, y'all do the same shit too. You'll throw your brother, you'll throw your son, you'll throw them up under the bus, giving right over to people who don't have, that you don't even trust. That you don't even, you talking about system in this place. I told you about trauma bonding. Because I'm going to get back to the subject about like what I experienced. You giving your kids, y'all been giving y'all kids over to trauma bonding corporations that prey on your childhood wounds, not only yours, but your kids. These systems do not value open communication. Oh, the First Amendment, or whatever it's called, freedom of speech. But then when you out here trying to speak, it's almost like, what the fuck, what cannot say? Who determines that? When I am a sovereign being, when I'm a person who is given, this is my fucking voice. I have authority over myself. How can someone tell me that it's not of a higher power, that I should not be who I am? I should not talk about what's going on? I shouldn't be emotionally vulnerable? How can I build trust with a society, a community, a pastor, a mother, or anybody if I don't have any type of emotional, build some type of, have a trust, or building a trust where I don't feel seen as a darker man in this country. I don't feel heard. How the fuck can you ask me to have mutual trust with you? Ain't nothing authentic about that. There's no integrity in that. Same thing with athletes and people. They hide so well too. No matter, especially a lot of these dark ones, they don't see us, people that are in certain demographics. They don't hear us. I'm calling a spade a spade. There's no mutual trust. How can y'all have so much mutual trust, or say y'all give so much emphasis to these people who not even right in front of your kids, who built no type of foundations with your kids? That's like asking me personally, if you know nothing about me. Y'all allow these illusions, them to cast these illusions in front of y'all, and you don't even question this shit. They be like, oh, well, I don't know nothing about. Oh, that's such and such. Hey, oh my God. And you immediately just open that child up because you have no fucking boundaries. Y'all open these kids up to stuff. Y'all expose. This is what has happened. The powers that used to be, we all been exposed to stuff. We all been exposed to stuff young. And we healing this shit. We literally unlearning these programs. This shit literally falling apart. Because it says free of self-betrayal, authentic love. Well, yo, we've been betraying ourselves most of our lives, a lot of us. Portraying ourselves for acceptance, for attention on social media. Y'all betraying yourselves for acceptance and attention, and your kids are doing the same thing. Y'all have more trust in these corporations and careers rather than our own. You don't even have mutual trust with yourself. You don't even have an authentic love with yourself. You don't even see you. You don't hear you. The source, the God, or the what's going on within you. You don't even see you. You don't even hear you. You don't even know what your intuition feels like, or the senses. You don't even hear you. You can't even decipher which thought is what, which actually from source to the creator or some other shit. And you go out here and tell your kids to go like follow after somebody that don't even have no authenticity, that doesn't have a foundation of authentic love. Y'all literally give y'all fucking kids over to everything without no sense of boundaries. And then you wonder why they get exposed to stuff sexually. This country has no boundaries. The powers that used to be literally expose your kids to prey on their woundings, to harvest their energy. Y'all not ready for that. I asked myself, this shit came up for me like some unresolved emotions and stuff. I asked myself, I said, how can a mother that I came through and a grandmother, literally, it helped me recognize the trauma bond and the authentic love that I have been called to rebuild within myself and to share. How can a woman who at a time would choose men over her own son, or choose a trauma bonding relationship, and to be around and sit around and drink with a man that shot you and your mother? And I asked myself that, I told my partner, I said, it's wild, because I was like, wow, I literally broke the fuck down in tears. Like, how could a woman trauma bond with a man like that and not protect her son from a woman who she knows sexually abused him, who she knowingly know that you abandoned purposefully for drugs, for the streets? And I know a lot of you have probably went through this experience can relate to that, because I want you to recognize what a trauma bond is. Systems that have been put in place for you to, like, your mothers and them are unconsciously trauma bonding with systems. And their greatest fear is for these things to crumble, and they don't realize, like, it goes back to the analogy I was giving y'all, how when you see an erosion, like certain waters have to get to this area and it literally collapses, and everything that right there with it collapses with it. This is exactly what's happening. In order for us to connect, in order for us to, certain things catastrophically, it's just like a landslide. Just for that water. Water is a primordial source. That water, emotion. Just for things to connect again. Because y'all keep thinking separation is the biggest illusion. All water leads to the ocean. And in any shape or form, we all connected in some way. We all can connect on some type of level. But y'all don't realize the reason I be speaking on whether it's color, whether it's nationality, culture, all this stuff, is because I'm showing y'all the illusion of separation in the blocks that you don't realize generationally and through your lineage that has been created to keep you from yourself, from seeing yourself, from hearing yourself, from developing a mutual trust with yourself so that your words can align with your actions, so you can have a fucking emotional vulnerability with yourself, a healthy dialogue with yourself. A lot of y'all got more emotional, you'll be more emotionally vulnerable with somebody else you don't know than with your own self and with your own spouse. Going back to even the illusion that has been cast to make a people that don't look like us, and this is for people that are lighter, y'all don't even see how deep a lot of y'all trauma is. I told my partner, I said, it amazes me how, and I'm just using this, and I'm not saying this is all people that are a lighter shade or white or Caucasian. Y'all don't even realize how deep y'all programming is, to how much y'all are programmed to hide behind y'all superficiality or y'all materialistic stuff. That's how deep y'all traumas is. Y'all trauma is literally to be happy all the time. Tell me, I want someone to correct me. Y'all, listen, I know some people that are Caucasian live in a trailer park, and some other places, but I'm talking about there's a narrative that powers that used to be, there was a narrative to push anything that are of a lighter shade to be more happier than everybody else. Bust your bubble. I know. What? I know there's women that are lighter skinned, fairer skinned who actually think that they are better than women that are darker. I've seen people in certain demographics where I grew up in when I went to certain schools who were lighter, who had everything, that were lighter, called themselves white, Caucasian, whatever it is, hillbillies, wore Confederate flags, a whole bunch of shit, and was the most miserable people that I can literally energetically pick up on, or just because I met myself emotionally deeper. Like, it's stuff I didn't care about. But they had all the cars, they had all this other stuff, and this is not about anything being jealous of what people have had, but they will have the most disconnected parents I ever seen in my life. When I say that this country has portrayed people that are lighter, y'all are some of the most disconnected people. And what I mean by, even some of y'all have used religion to disconnect from your vulnerability, from being emotionally vulnerable. A lot of women. Yep. I'm talking about authentic love. Y'all have a more authentic love with literally masking yourself to be so happy. I told my partner, I said, why is it that there's this so emphasis on anybody that look like you to just be happy all the time? All the time. And you will literally see darker people who programming so deep to where they'll actually think that they can't even be that. Or they literally put it out there so they can strive to be that. Or they got to be around them to be that. Or they got to be a part of this to be that. Yup. And that's why, to my people that are darker, like that grew up in demographic, like for me, I'm telling you, that's how deep this psychological warfare was, folk. It literally made people that are like, make it seem like they are the happiest in the world. And then from my experiences, I'm not gonna say all are the most miserable, but they are some that are so disconnected. They do not have a connection to source. Not like, I'm telling you. And then their happiness, this how dysfunctional this shit is. Their happiness is so fake. For some of them, their happiness is so fake that they literally go out there and fake it with all of these accessories, with their cars and whatever. And they'll have the family. They'll have all this stuff. But literally, I've seen some deep down, there is no type of emotional depth. It's literally a facade. When you say, you hear people say, use a term, and I'm saying they'll use the term white America, or literally you hear people say the American dream. In actuality, it's like the white American dream, because of how much people have this emphasis is on white being right, black being, or anything dark being evil or bad. Y'all don't even see how deep the psychological shit goes. So that's why you have people that are darker, who have this self-hatred so deep for themselves in certain demographics that they actually believe that they are bad. They actually believe that they are not good for nothing. Not to mention, you giving them a narrative that they come from something, slaves, that, you know what I'm saying? Then you give them this Jesus character that don't look like them, that add more insult to injury, that does more psychological warfare on them. Deep ass programming to literally have them believing like white is right again. Not to mention in school systems that purposely fail them, that purposely target them to labor them ADHD, because they learn completely different and receive information completely different, because no student learns the fucking same. Then not to mention, you're giving them mostly teachers that don't look like them. You're giving them when they go to big schools or whatever it is, you're giving them coaches that don't look like them. Y'all don't realize this, a lot of this shit is so psychological. And it's already as deep as people that are darker. You're asking a lot of us to trust when most of the private prison systems are owned by people that don't look like us. Let's call a spade a spade. Most of the COs and all that don't look like us. And then if there are people in there that do look like us, there's not really a lot of support. Y'all are literally looking at a country that takes no accountability, that has no mutual trust between people that are lighter and are darker. That's why there's always so much emphasis on sparking what y'all may call, use the term, a race war or race bait. You have people, I was telling my partner, I said, a lot of the things that when you see people use spiritually that don't look like us, a lot of them use it just for greed, just to gain some type of financial, more financial, support, or to try to gain another upper hand. Just saying. A lot of people that are lighter skinned, a lot of complexions don't know that most of the most melanated place are people in the South. And then these are the most traumatic people, like people who have dealt with so many things traumatically. People that are in the South, what they call the South, the southern states. Yup. This is some of the most prominent athletes, most intelligent, which intelligence is everywhere, but I'm just saying typically you're more advanced, people, which we're taught that people from the South are slow because we're not working as hard as other people. Like, y'all humans, y'all really bother me, bro. And I'm saying that real funny. Like, y'all really trip me the fuck out, bro. Like, it's the ones who, like I said, I got people, like, I was telling my partner, I said, y'all, you got to realize, like, there is no woman, and this is to my, like, if you want to call yourself white, Caucasian, or even of a light of shade, there ain't nobody out there that has the courage or that has even talk about what the fuck dark people really go through other than your Jane Elliott. But I'm talking about y'all see what's going on. Y'all see what's going on, whether it's your television, y'all know about stuff in your neighborhood. You got grandparents, great-grandparents who have openly told you, and you've seen it, that do not like people that are darker. And y'all hide behind the money. Y'all hide behind your daddies. Y'all hide behind stuff. Y'all afraid to bring people that are home that are darker. That's why a lot of you deal with darker men in secret in your universities and so forth. But you know, deep, like, it's a lot of stuff, folks. It's deep. Yo, it's deep. Y'all know that a lot of y'all lineage, the racism and self-hatred runs so deep. So deep. But y'all ain't afraid to be disowned by your daddies. Y'all afraid. I ain't gonna say y'all not, but y'all afraid to be to take accountability. To really step out and really, it's wild. How, again, I speak to all women. I've had to sit with people that I could no longer associate with, because it's like, I don't know you personally to know that you don't even have a healthy dialogue with people that are darker. And a lot of y'all hide behind this spirituality shit. A lot of y'all hide behind your yoga shit. A lot of y'all hide behind your what you call it, your corporate positions. A lot of y'all hide behind daddy money. A lot of y'all hide behind these businesses that y'all knowingly was just literally built off certain things that y'all never want to talk about. Literally a country who literally harvests the energy off of darker people. Let's talk about it. The pain of darker people at that. The trauma, the preying on the wounded. You talking about, that's how deep in the soil this shit goes. And then we just ask to just keep taking, like, mental, spiritual, physical ass whoopings and pretending like we just not supposed to call our energy back and not supposed to walk away from this shit. You got me fucked up. You know, you got you messed up. Like I told you, I dealt with people that are lying, and a lot of y'all hide behind the fact of, like, the first thing y'all go to, I got darker friends, or y'all may say, I got black friends, I got this, I got that. Where they at? Where they at? How y'all not standing? Y'all not in our corner, and y'all be wanting trust. Y'all be wanting to associate yourself with people. I had to tell my partner that. I said, like, a lot of y'all family don't even have healthy dialogue with darker people, because y'all don't even, because a lot of y'all family know the history of what y'all have done to darker people, and even if it ain't true, to the ones who don't even know what's going on. I have compassion and grace for the ones who had nothing to do with stuff like that, but they still have this subconscious fear of, like, you know, they want to deal with people that are darker, but it's like they're afraid that they may get misjudged or immediately, like, outcasted, because they actually want to build a mutual trust. They actually couldn't control what happened. But some of y'all that know what's been going on, bro, y'all judgment, bro, it's here. Y'all karma coming too. It's already here. That's why I talk about these things, because there's youth that, like, some of y'all grandmothers and mom and daddy, y'all, it's fucked up how they know what they bringing y'all up in. And they'll wait till you get a certain age when now all this resentment and all this, regret or resentment has been built up because they don't want you dating someone that don't look like you, that's not in, religious and whatever it is. That's just, ignorance is truly bliss, bro. And darker people, y'all ain't exempt too. I know people in certain demographics, y'all despise it when someone trying to talk to someone that don't look like y'all. Like, y'all can't tell people who to love and who to accept and who to embrace, who to have kids by, who to marry or whatever it is, who to get in a union with, because you don't trust yourself, because you don't want to do the inner work, because you don't want to have an open communication or be emotionally vulnerable and actually tell that child, like, I don't want to do, Nah, this trauma culture shit and this trauma bonding shit that literally has fueled all of your corporations, your business in this country, is trauma bonding. When you're asking a people to forget about what has happened and continuously, no, I'm not that person. I'm not that guy. And a lot of people, I know they be wanting to say it too. A lot of them don't trust darker people, but some people don't even know why they don't trust them. Some people actually have experience with darker people. I had people tell me that they've been bullied by people that are lighter, that actually been bullied by people that are darker. So I get that perspective. But some people actually have no fucking reason. Y'all go off of something because y'all knowingly know that there's a conviction there, there's a guilt there. So you try to hide behind, like, whatever it is to keep from really realizing, like, you really don't have a reason not to like people that are just because they don't look like you. You really don't have a reason. Because now, no one can hide behind their status and money, whatever the fuck y'all keep trying to portray on the physical. This is deeper now. This is a spiritual thing. It's always been spiritual. Because it's in you, it ain't on you. Meaning it ain't about your skin. But y'all making it about it. That's why I talk about it. Y'all making it about these things. Like, I'm just here to balance out the scales, baby. I'm here to bring, restore balance. So, again, y'all want to know why people, especially darker people, don't trust people that are lighter? And I'm not just talking about whether you want to call yourself white, Caucasian. I'm talking about people that are lighter, too. Some of y'all really unconsciously, or some of y'all do consciously know exactly that you really think you are better than someone because of your looks. I see certain celebrities, I know exactly what's going on with them. That they literally, how deep their mental illness and trauma is, and you're asking of our daughters to look at these people as if there's something to be, like, celebrated. Why would I teach my daughter to go cut on herself? To go get something like that and not embrace what the Creator has designed her perfectly to be, how she should be. Now, if someone got in an accident or not an accident or something happened, and that's different. That's a whole different perspective. I'm talking about specifically, like, I can see the deep ass insecurities with these, people who have been literally put in position, and they are going to fall from grace. Because they don't care about your well-being or the well-being of your daughters. They just care about their dollars. They just care about gaining more and more material shit here. And have no sense of integrity or authenticity. They don't care about building mutual trust. They might parade it as if, like, they really do care. No, man, all that stuff man, I'm telling you, the way these transits is, the way the stars are aligning, the way everything is aligning, all that stuff gonna be exposed, man. You cannot threaten authenticity. Oh my God. Y'all asking people, it's just like me, even with people that I know personally that has, like, wanting forgiveness. You asking people to, like, forgive and just accept. No, everyone's not like that. You're literally, we in a country or have been in a place where you have some people that are lighter who are they are so fearful of a darker person's retribution, or even the fact of like they're infuriated within to see, even like, we're not allowed to be angry at what has happened personally with us. That's like me not being angry about what I went through with my mother and so forth, and the emotions behind that. So it's different perspectives. I'm talking about the different perspectives of like people who pretend that y'all don't see what has gone on in this country and around the world between people who are lighter shades and who are darker shades. Like, y'all disgust me. I will not associate myself with businesses, corporations, or anything like that, or systems like that. For what? I'm just a messenger. That's it. You keep asking the people. I would encourage people who know personally that are darker, who know they have went through things, please call your energy back to you. Like, please stand in your power. I don't even like to say the word please, but I encourage you to stand in your power. Like, really choose yourself. That's what integrity is. If you don't know what the word means, look it up. That's what being authentic is. It's no longer associating yourself with certain things, whether it's people, businesses, corporations, and so forth. Even to people that are lighter. You knowingly know that this company or these people or this whatever it is associating themselves with anything that's not of integrity. Why not? Why not walk away? Why not pull yourself from it? I know it's very challenging because people don't see a solution. You're asking the people to show up, not to be tired of what has been going on. People are fucking tired. I'm telling people that I know that are darker and stuff. It's that moment to choose you now. The mothers. That's how you're gonna create a shift. Is once you realize, once you pull your energy or stop giving your energy to certain things, it literally crumbles. You pull your protection from that shit. I was telling myself like something today. I was like, I call back all my energy from these spaces, places, environments, relationships, even this country, for what my ancestors had to endure here. And literally my protection goes with that shit. Because a lot of people don't realize, like, energetically and spiritually speaking, a lot of y'all are in places where some of you that are darker are in places where no one looks like you. And your spiritual protection, or who you are, is literally keeping all that shit afloat. That career, that bit, all of that stuff. Knowing that these are not places that celebrate you, honor you, respect you, and so forth. Whether it be a country, a community, a city, whatever it is. Watch all that shit. Watch when you move how certain things gonna change. Yeah. Because people gonna get a wake-up call here. And that's from all shades. Like, again, I can go deeper and deeper, but I'm letting y'all know some real stuff. Like, people don't, you're asking, there's no mutual trust when it comes to, this country. Look at what's going on with them in other countries. There's nothing authentic about people being bullied. Why am I surprised that a lot of stuff is happening the way it is? That's a huge turn of events. That's a huge shift. Why would I support the fact of like, oh, let me go save what? Save myself from the agony and the emotional turmoil that I already know that when I was trying to be a part of things, I refuse to go through that shit again. No. And with that, as you start to shift, that's when certain things will present itself. You'll see people start to call back. You'll see people start wanting you support. You start this and that. You'll know when it's time to return. But when you go do that solitude and go do that inner work and all that stuff, you'll realize, like, you will have this utmost, like, confidence in yourself and stand on them boundaries. Again, we have been in a country that does not have clear boundaries. That values accountability, that literally holds space to evolve as a people. That's deep. There's no, even in your system, there's nothing where you can literally, like certain things where you can be emotionally vulnerable. For one, that's not even taught for men to be. They're taught to be emotionally, like, avoidant. And when you look at a lot of things, the military and all this other stuff, that's not something where they're taught to be emotionally vulnerable, to have open communication, words aligning with, actions. This is not a country that reflects that. Mutual trust, where? With the people? Where? You lie to them all the time. Where the leaders? Who really behind what? And then anything that reflects the fact that they see us as humanity, or they see us as, they hear and see what is going on with us. When I look at that shit, the authentic aspect of that, you don't hear our mothers. That's why I be telling you, people that are lighter skin, whatever you want to call it, you don't hear yourself. So how you gonna disconnect yourself from all mothers? Y'all don't have compassion. Y'all been so numb. You've been so focused on just people that look like you. You don't, and this is not everyone, but this is why I start to weed out certain people in my life, because y'all will watch people, but y'all don't build relationships with people because I cannot relate to that. You don't always gotta relate. But then when you go through something and it's relatable, you don't know how the tables may turn when that person that don't look like you may be there. Again, this is not a country when it comes to our matriarchal society and women. And, there's nothing authentic about how y'all really see what our women is going through, because y'all ignore it. Y'all do everything to devalue it. And that's from my personal experience with my mother and women that are darker in this certain demographics. When y'all don't hear their cry because you don't want to. But you'll love to harvest their energy. You'll love to use them to keep your fucking society or keep this shit going up. No, it's done. It's done. That energy, that source has been cut. It's done. Because that's going to have to be some shit that change reciprocity. Some of y'all going to have to come from your communities to realize, like, yeah, you've been hiding out in your communities. Now that your systems and all the stuff that y'all built, your housing systems, your corporations, your banking systems, and all that other shit, all of it, now that it's collapsing, I just wonder who y'all got to run to now. When you look at the system, who you going to run to now? Who you going to run to now? And so, that being said, it's just like, this goes back to what I was telling my partner. I was like, this all goes back to everybody want to feel a sense of belonging. Belonging. And as a darker man, I encourage my men to really take solo trips and go away. Go away. You know what I'm talking about. Go away and be with you. Some things people don't realize, you don't appreciate shit till it's gone. Go away. Go away. This is a country who literally claim to be the freedom, but has the most incarcerated people in this country. How can you say you see us and hear us? How can you say you want to have a mutual trust with people that are darker, who created and who taught people who don't look like them certain things? And those people manipulated things. And even the ones that are darker that you don't see, who also had their hand in stuff. But you're talking about a country who have mostly people, most of our fathers are incarcerated. And y'all literally support this. But then you have your fathers that don't look like us, most of them that can go in other countries and unalive people and call it a sacrifice and call it honorable. Man, y'all fucking disgust me. What are you really fighting for? Some of y'all will defend that to the death of you, and you die miserably. You leave this world miserably because you don't took so much pride and ego in gaining something materially in the name of who? Where's the integrity in that? And you do it no differently than when you shoot somebody on the street. And we literally say the war is somewhere else. Y'all don't even realize, like, the reason this country ain't progressing because look at the energy. Look at the wounded masculine aspect of that. You got women that don't even want to interact with each other because y'all literally think you're better because of what you look like. And deep down are the most insecure. You hide behind everything else. You can't make me love the wealth of someone else and think that they're more important because of what they have. Ugh. You think I'm gonna teach kids that? Oh, look at what they got, it's shiny. Man, that don't mean nothing. I will always tell people what I had to learn. Don't worry about that smile. Focus on what they're not showing you. That's how you see someone spiritually. Focus on what they're not showing you. Observe. Who are they? Some of y'all, I call it on all levels. Some of y'all, a lot of people, y'all, you love for the people to play your sports. You love for people to come in and make your team win. And then all of a sudden when there's not winning and this is not going and, all of a sudden you just throw them to the trash. I know a lot of athletes can relate to that. I know a lot of men can relate to that too. You love how we perform. Not all, but some of you love how we entertain. Yeah. So, yeah. The world is a stage, bro. This shit is hilarious to me. Darker people, y'all gotta learn how to trust more yourself too. Some of y'all gotta reconnect to who you are. That's in this demographics. Like a lot of you know who I'm talking to. Like I said, it's very challenging for a darker man to even speak his truth, to be emotionally vulnerable, without it automatically seeming like a target is on his back from people that look like him that don't care about him. And then he already going through his own spiritual warfare, not to mention he has his own vices that he has to face, breaking generational patterns and curses, self-sabotaging behavior, not trying to betray himself in the mix, and still there's no compassion for us. There's no compassion for us. Not to mention people that don't look like us. It almost seems like there's this sense of like, we only want to use you for what you can do. Sometimes I just like wish that a lot of these athletes would really sit down and really see what a real support system is. And I mean by after your ass get injured, who really does support you? When a contract or whatever it is not, on the table, who really is your support system, bro? And I'm talking about in a country where you know that there's not much support around. Because either it's like, if you're good at something, people want to come and get close to you and take. And then even when you're good at something with people that look like you, they want to take your life in a way because they're so, they have so much self-hatred. But then on the other side of things, depending on the system or whatever you're a part of, athletics or something, they just want to get you, use you until you're all banged up. After your season all banged up, they don't talk about the traumas that a lot of darker men go through when they're on them football fields, and they don't talk about a lot of this stuff with boxing and the traumas that people deal with after that. Y'all don't realize how much of the wounded society, when it talks about the wounded masculine, where things were just centered around war, aggression, fighting. What else was it? Like, all those things that were literally were geared towards just that, but not really seeing the importance of the feminine principles of who we are as men. Yep. And a lot of people I know, like from my demographics, You know, a lot of darker people, depending on where they grew up at, they don't even have mutual trust with their mothers, and let alone if a father's not there. So they automatically are afraid of themselves or afraid of being vulnerable. So then you put us in positions, or we come into these positions where we're asked to be vulnerable, and then you telling our mothers to be vulnerable because our mothers are already telling us, like, you better not go out here and say this, because these systems that are in place are designed to keep darker men away from their families and stable. So when that boy goes out there and tells you, you know, mama has been doing this to me, that's an underlying fear subconsciously that if he says something or do anything, his voice is automatically shut out. You know, to where he don't know how to be vulnerable. He don't know how to be vulnerable. And this is what you see a lot of men, especially darker, go through. They don't know how to be vulnerable. Because when they try to be vulnerable, they will be punished for it. Because it started in their childhood. So you want to date these men. For a lot of you that are lighter skinned, you want to date these men. And I told my partner, I said, y'all want to interact with these people and think that nothing comes with them? That's anybody. That's vices that come with everybody. That's something that comes with everybody. Even if they didn't experience trauma or not. That's something that comes with everybody. Everybody. I want to associate people that are darker that don't want to have nothing to do with people that don't look like them. For what? I have kids that don't look darker than me. Why would I tell them not to like someone that doesn't look like them? Y'all literally, like, I don't get into that, the black business stuff. Listen, it's y'all don't realize how deeper stuff is. People will come at me just because of stuff like that. It's a difference when you're trying to build on something. I get the support in that. But why would I tell someone not to like someone or not support someone just because of their color? Because people don't even know what they unconsciously are creating. And it's not everybody. Because there are people who have these businesses and so forth, who really want to thrive, who really have this emphasis on, you know, building up people because of what certain people that are darker had to endure. That's a difference. Because there's nothing else. There's no one supporting it, so they had to do it on their own. I get that. But there are deeper things, bro. I wish I knew that video where that lady was talking about how, man, I wish I knew that video, bro. That shit was so deep. But, again, a lot of people don't realize, no matter your color and all this other stuff, a lot of us are literally unlearning programming from humanity, from false teachers, from a lot of things, people who never really taught us the importance of authenticity, of having a healthy dialogue with ourselves spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So there is a purge all across the board. There's a purge. People are awakening to certain things, and it's different ways. You know, I had an opportunity to do something, and I had to turn it away because it didn't reflect integrity to me. I ain't give a fuck about, like, the fact that if I was getting offered money and stuff like that, I wasn't finna jeopardize my morals and principles, because I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I was asked by a lady that didn't look like me, that's to say a lighter shade. And I was asked to do face painting, you know, and, you know, for an event. And, you know, I had to recognize the fact of, like, this is a place where, again, as a darker man, I did not feel appreciated. I did not feel celebrated. You know, they asked me to do face painting, and I knew that, most of the kids, or from my experience of being there, that most of the kids were lighter skin, like, you know, a different shade, a lighter shade. And I really had to tell her from my heart, like, I don't know, and I don't feel comfortable because, and it's not, it was just me being, integrity. I was like, it sounds exciting for y'all, but it ain't exciting for me. Because there are people who will not want me to paint their child's face because they don't want their child to be around darker people. They don't want a man doing that. You will actually have fathers and mothers who have never seen me, but due to the fact of these certain towns and certain things, that they don't want a man like You don't know what that may bring up for people. Not that I care, but it's important where all opportunities or all things it's not gonna like, I'm not gonna sit here and make myself small because, well, you give us a number and you let us know, and I'm sitting here like, listen, I gotta let you know, like, no, respectfully. And the lady almost teared up because I was sitting here telling her, like, there are gonna be kids who probably only grew up around people who never seen a man that looked like me. And who actually, there are people who will be terrified. And then you actually have, people that do not want their kids to have their face painted just because I'm darker. And she was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, you don't need to apologize for people. This is what people have been ignoring. Like, there are opportunities, and there are people so selfish, so greedy, that before they want to see someone progress that don't look like them, they will literally keep it to themselves. They will literally, like, go to the grave or leave this world before they actually do that. That's how deep. A lot of people don't realize how a lot of things is in this country. Yes. But we're asked as darker people, for a lot of us, to have compassion, to just, brush it off and just accept it, or, put in uncompromising positions where, well, dang, I got to put food on the table, or I got to do this and so forth like that. The possibility of some people even being homeless, the possibility of some people even being in positions where it's like, damn, like, can I get a break? Not to mention me personally having to go through experience even in my own community settings with darker people. I speak on all levels where some people don't want to see you progress. They have an internal jealousy and so forth where, oh man, you have this gift or you can do this. Well, I'm in this position of authority. I'm not going to support you. I know I can give you this. I know I can put you in this position, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that's why I say color don't make you kin, but I really had to tell that lady. I was like, honestly, nah. Because an elder told me, go where you are celebrated and appreciated. And I said, I do not feel this here in this town or this place. Like, I don't feel welcome. And I'm not blaming nobody for that. I was supposed to come here to endure it, to see it, but to transmute it and to alchemize it and to speaking it and to sharing it. To realize, like, again, from my lens as a darker person, as much as other people feel like it's not a thing, it is. Y'all want, there's people, I had to tell my partner, I said, see, y'all have been so conflict avoidant and been programmed so deeply that you don't want to see or you don't want to hear. So there's no open communication. There's no place where, again, I have to come here to be emotionally vulnerable. And it's a real thing. So when I had to let her know that, I mean, it's cool, but I'm not going to act like my throat is it. I'm not going to act like I'm being celebrated and appreciated. No. That energy, bro, it just don't, energy. It just, nah. And again, it's a sense of belonging. We want to feel a sense of belonging. Everybody does. Everybody, no matter who you are, your inner child want to feel a sense of belonging. Want to feel a sense of, like, being around people where it feels like you're at home. Like, it feels like it's literally the feeling a sense of, like, safety, security, to be able to be vulnerable. That feeling of, like, man, this person feels like home. And I had to realize, like, a lot of things I had to unlearn, and so I had to come back home to me. I had to come back home to me, feel safe within me first, to love me first, to remove all these illusions and all this programming of, I got to look to this person or look to this religious figure. I got to do this to feel a sense of safety. No, I do not. My emotions are mine first. So with that, again, it's like I know what I'm being called to do. I just have to share my messages and keep moving forward, because I would encourage other people to do that. Go where you are celebrated and appreciated. And that's why, again, at a time where I had to remove myself from even certain communities or environments, and again, y'all know that these places don't celebrate you. Y'all get so consumed or think that y'all not living in authenticity and integrity when you really knowingly know that, well, I'm going to go into this place, I'm going to go do this. So I know they don't appreciate shit I do. They don't celebrate nothing I do. Bro, you got to create the change. You got to be the one to shake stuff up. And why you seeing all this stuff crumbling? Because, again, it's no substance. It's literally it's not created for people to be celebrated, to be embraced, for people to be honored. There's nothing honorable about telling people and literally giving a narrative like we come from slavery. No, please. There's nothing appreciative, when you have to go out there and seem like you have to work harder just to obtain a degree, or harder just to look to appeal to society as I'm great, but look at me, I have all this money, look at me, I have all these things, just to appeal to society that I'm somebody. Man, that's crazy. That's so mentally, bro, that's wild. I won't ever teach the youth that we all are valuable, no matter what shade. Everyone is valuable. Everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to be heard. But you don't get nowhere when we keep thinking that you got to keep teaching us, or forcing us to believe that we don't matter. We're not important. Not this dark brother. Not this melanin person. Nope. Because to the depths of beyond the skin, I know who I am. You got to stand in that. A lot of y'all, again, y'all sellouts because you will literally sell out yourself and then sell out the people around you. So you ain't going to see me praising no fucking celebrity. I don't even know these people. You ain't going to see me, what leader? What world politician? Who? Why do I need to? I don't know them. They probably know of me, but I don't know them. I don't know them enough to make judgments. I know enough from what I experience and what I see to go on in this country, what I observe, to see the trickery, the manipulation, the ignorant stuff, to realize, like, how long you think this is going to go on? Like, it's literally, the curtain is closing. The curtain is closing. And as these old characters in this world that y'all think are so great and so amazing at what they do, and the illusions that they cast and whatever it is they put out there, bro, the curtain has closed. A lot of these ones you see up there now, whatever they're doing, the desperation is real for them to stay relevant. But the things are changing. The tide has already shifted into the favor of those where the last shall be first and the first shall be last. The tide has already shifted. It already shifted. I got to go. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings. Shalom.